Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome to another session of our series, Diluting Wala Wal Bara. And we are at the end of the first volume of this series. We're on part 2, which consists of just 8 chapters. And those 8 chapters serve as an introduction to volume 2. And in the meantime, while we're doing these 8 chapters of introduction, I want everybody to please go to Amazon.com and order volume 2 of the book. It's called Diluting Wala Wal Bara Volume 2 by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. Because once we finish this introduction of 8 chapters, we'll go into that book. That book is heavy. That book is deep. That book is intense. And you cannot teach yourself that book. You're going to have to learn it from a person of knowledge, a person that knows those hadiths, understand the meaning, and also has that correct belief system. Okay, because this topic of wala wal bara, as you guys can see, is very intense. It's all about checking ourselves to assure that our allegiance is properly placed. As Muslims, our allegiance should be to Allah first and foremost, then the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then to the believers on earth and to this religion. 'Tis the season. What do I mean by that? This is the time of year that a lot of Muslims show their true understanding of allegiance or not. If you're one of those Muslims that has Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Santa Claus decorating your lawn, if you're celebrating Christmas, New Year's Day, Thanksgiving, Halloween, then that shows that your allegiance is displaced. It shows that as a Muslim, you don't truly understand the concept of La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. You go to a lot of people of dawah and you ask them, oh, can I celebrate Thanksgiving? Can I celebrate Halloween? Can I celebrate? They give you the wrong answers because it's not an issue, a matter of lawful and unlawful. It's a matter of allegiance. If your allegiance was to Allah, to the Prophet, and to the Muslims, you wouldn't even consider taking on any other people's holidays, whether those holidays entail worshiping Allah or not. The simple fact that they're not of us, that they don't come from us, then that means we have to disassociate ourselves from it. Allah didn't tell us to celebrate those days. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't celebrate that. Neither did those first 3 generations of Muslims. So that means whatever the holiday is, whatever the festivity is, it contradicts our lifestyle. So anything that contradicts our lifestyle, we distance ourselves from it. And that's what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam meant when he said every nation of people have their holidays. Our holidays are 2, the Eid al-Adha and the Eid al-Fitr. That's it. We don't have no New Year's Day. We don't do birthdays. We don't do Valentine's, Halloween, Christmas. We don't do El Quds Day. We don't do El Puds Day or anything else. We don't make up holidays. Those are the only 2 we have. That's our wala, our allegiance, our loyalty is to just those 2 days. There's no Juma Mubarak either. We don't go around wishing each other Juma Mubarak. We don't go around partying because it's Juma Mubarak. Because Allah didn't tell us to do that. And our allegiance should be to whatever he commands us to do. And our Prophet Muhammad and the companions, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, didn't do that. So neither should we. So those are the type of answers that these brothers should be giving you instead of talking about history. Because history don't have nothing to do with anything. Not the Kafir history, not American history. America ain't got no history. America's history is just somebody's story. And everybody in America got a sad sob story. So, instead of that history crap, they need to just tell you, no, we don't celebrate these holidays. No, we don't celebrate these events because they're not part of our lifestyle. And as Muslims, our allegiance is only to Allah, the Prophet, and the Muslims, not to the pilgrims. We don't have allegiance to the early settlers of America. We don't have allegiance to the Native Americans. Our allegiance is not based on color either, because this person is black, this person is white, this person's from Europe. Our allegiance is not based on a place either, because this person's from Saudi, because this person graduated from El Azhar, because this person graduated from Medina. You know, that doesn't determine our allegiance. What determines our allegiance is the testimony of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And anyone that declares that statement, that means their life, their property, and their honor are sacred, and we are of each other. Does everybody understand that? And our celebrations are only what Allah specified them to be. Our celebrations are only what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us to do. You guys are learning about the spread of Islam after the death of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The first caliph was Abu Bakr. Islam wasn't spread by the sword. Islam was spread because the people were impressed with our ideology, our behavior. And as Islam spread from out of Arabia, across the ocean, across the sea, to the other lands, you didn't see the people making up holidays as a result. That's what the Christians did. When the Christians spreaded their belief system, they allowed people to convert and told them, bring your pagan beliefs with you. We didn't do that. No. As Islam spread, those companions taught your pagan beliefs, you have to do away with. You have to disassociate from that. You have to disassociate from all those belief systems that you had prior to Islam. We've lost that understanding today, unfortunately. And because we've lost that understanding today, this is why our nation is in the horrific state it's in. We have a high apostasy rate. Most Muslim women do not cover up. They don't dress the part. They don't look the part. Most Muslim men don't dress the part. They don't look the part. Our children have no identity as a Muslim. We as women don't know what our purpose is, what our role is, or what our rights are. And because of all of this deviation, this is why Allah has sent war. As Allah says, war comes from Him. And He sends it as a means of showing his displeasure with us. He sends it to punish those who have deviated away, to test those who are strong in faith, and also to cleanse the earth of corrupt people. And he also sends it so we can look around and see who the true believers are from the hypocrites. Allah is angry at us as a nation today because we've deviated away from that correct understanding of La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, and the allegiance part of it. So yesterday, we spoke about how, as Muslims, everything centers around that allegiance. Within the home, we show allegiance to one another. And even outside the home, we have to have our allegiance placed properly. One of the reasons why Muslim children today succumb to these pagan holidays is because their family, the parents, you parents don't take them around the Islamic community. You don't make your children actively engage within the activities at the mosques. Okay? And that's what we're going to speak about today, the significance of the mosque. The mosque serves a great purpose for us as Muslims, just like the home serves a great purpose for us. So let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen. And I did post up on YouTube and Facebook. We're restarting on page 284. I think it is, right? You should have read from pages 284 to 287, I think it is, of chapter 4 of part 2 of Diluting the volume 1. Okay, because this speaks about the significance and the importance of the mosque. And by the way, the pictures that I've chosen to use today for today's class, these are pictures of the different mosques here where I live in Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland has a lot of mosques. And let me put this down so I can explain to y'all why I did this. We have, and let me fix that too. I have 2 sisters here who have joined us tonight. They are new and they live right here where I live. I met them when I was taking out my garbage. Y'all know I only go to Starbucks, or I go take out the garbage, or I go to the grocery store. Other than that, I stay home. But alhamdulillah, I have 2 sisters 2 women came up to me, and they had saw me dressed like this. This was today. I was taking out my garbage, had my little hood on and stuff. You know, it's wintertime, it's cold. So they asked me if I were Muslim. Of course, I told them yes. And they said that they are sisters and they just converted. And they wanted to know where they could go to learn about the religion. Well, of course, I told them first and foremost, come to my website. And they're here. I said, because not only am I your neighbor, because they live in the same apartments complex I live. I said, not only are we neighbors, I said, but I am a teacher, an Islamic teacher, and I have classes online every day. And I told her all my classes are designed, you know, for new and old Muslims. So, and also I informed them that there's a mosque right down the street from us. And I told them that mosque down the street from us has a lot of classes too. And they have a young imam that they hired, and they might want to go there too. Okay. So, and not only that, but there's other masajids, there's other masjids here in this Cleveland area. Cleveland has over 50 suburbs, and we have different mosques. So I'm using pictures of some of the different mosques that's kind of close, just the ones close to where these sisters live, so they can see how they look, because they're kind of shy. They're shy to go by themselves, and y'all know me. I have anxiety. I don't go anywhere. Okay, so these pictures are pictures of the mosques here. So I just want to let you guys know that. So, and that's why I use them. Let's share the screen. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Open it back up so I can see. There it is. Okay, so today we're going to speak about the importance of the mosque. And one of the things that I have reminded you guys as students, before you sisters even think about marriage or anything like that, you need to attach yourself to a good Islamic community, because the mosque is the center of our outside lives. Just like the home is the center of your family life, the mosque is the center of our outside life. And this picture here, this is a picture of the Islamic Center of Cleveland. This is on the west side. For those two sisters, this is how the mosque looks. It's beautiful. It has a dome. It kind of looks like Masjid al-Aqsa. So this masjid is on the west side of Cleveland. This is known as the Islamic Center of Greater Cleveland. It's a big, beautiful masjid. My brother Issa's there. Okay, so let's talk about it. And how do I get this out of the way? Okay, there it is. What is the mosque? The mosque is considered Allah's house on earth. The masjid, these are the houses of Allah. In other words, they belong to Allah. And because of that, it's not a place to go and do business, personal business. This is why in Islam, we're forbidden to buy and sell things inside the mosque. When we spend time inside the mosque, we get rewarded for it, but we don't get rewarded for unless we're spending the time there remembering Allah. So it's essential for us as Muslims to follow the guidelines that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam put in effect for us concerning the mosque. And one of the guidelines is the mosque is supposed to be kept clean. And this is something that you women need to let your children know. Your children have to understand that the mosque should be clean. No running through it. It's not a playground. Also, it's forbidden to build a particular location for the imam at the front end of the mosque. Why? Because we don't pray to man. We pray to Allah. So if the imam is going to have a mihrab, okay, he can't put it at the front end of the qibla of the mosque. Because again, the focus should be on Allah, not on the imam or some other person. And we are allowed to do activities in the mosque. One of the new sisters asked me, well, what do you do in the mosque? Well, most of the masjids here where I live, they hold talks. They'll have classes, lectures, weekend programs. They may have Quran reading classes to teach you how to read the Quran. They may have classes whereas the imam will teach hadiths. Okay, so we're allowed to study and learn at the mosque, and this is why it's important for everyone to get a schedule, to go to the website of the mosques in your city and look and see their schedules, because most of them have some type of activity going on. And you want to involve yourself and your children into whatever that activity is. Here at my website, for example, the class that Brother Mukhtar teaches, the class that he teaches, he's also teaching it from the Mosque. So there's people there in the mosque listening too. Okay? So those are the type of activities that are held at the mosque. Any type of activity that entails remembering Allah, learning about the religion. Even during Ramadan, we seclude ourselves in the mosque so we can get even closer to Allah. But sinful talk should be avoided. What does that mean? We don't go to the mosque to backbite. We don't go to the mosque to speak badly about people or to catch up on gossip. We go to the mosque to remember Allah. It's a sacred place dedicated to worshiping Allah. Does everybody understand that? And that's why I tell you guys, as new Muslims, it is extremely important for you sisters. I don't want to hear any of you talk about how you want to get married. Forget that. That's later on. Look at all the mosques in your city. Investigate them. Read what the people say about the imam. Is this an imam that follows the Quran and the Sunnah? Is this a mosque that has counseling for marriage? Is this a mosque that you can go to for help that will help you in your time of need financially too? That they won't turn you away for zakat. You have to investigate that, okay, and get comfortable. Do they have activities for the children? Do they have an Islamic school? Do they have classes for the adults? Check all that stuff out, okay? Marriage is later on down the line, okay? And again, our way of life, Islam, emphasizes the importance of prayer, the importance of reading the Quran, and the importance of glorifying and praising Allah inside the mosque. By doing these type of actions, it strengthens our allegiance to Allah. One of the reasons why Muslims today have misplaced allegiance is because they don't read the Quran and ponder its meaning. They don't make their prayers as they should. So they have no allegiance to Allah. This is why you will hear a lot of people say, don't ever abandon the prayer. Because if you abandon your prayers, you have broken your connection to Allah. Okay? And the mosque serves as a reminder of where our allegiance is supposed to be as Muslims. Okay? So it's very important for us to have a mosque, and you just don't attend it on Fridays. This is a big innovation that's going on today. Some Muslims just go to the mosque on Friday. That's it. You never see him any other time of the week. Oh, no, no, no. You brothers are supposed to be making all 5 of your prayers. For you men that don't know this, you're supposed to perform all 5 of your daily prayers at the mosque. If you don't live close to a mosque, Allah will temporarily excuse you. But you're not excused indefinitely. Because that should be a priority in seeking a location to live. As we talked about yesterday, establishing the Muslim home. You should have established your Muslim home in an area that's close to the mosque. When I moved back here to where I live, the first thing I said is there any mosque nearby? Even though the only mosque I go to is the mosque I grew up in. But I want to make sure there's a mosque nearby me in case something happens. They can get to me quick. And there is a mosque 5 minutes away from me. Even though I've never been to it, there's a mosque 5 minutes away from me. Okay? If I was married, if I ever got married, my husband would be happy because he's in walking distance to a mosque. And if I was married, I'd kick him out every day. Fajr, get up, Aki, go to the mosque and pray. It's just 5 minutes away. Get up, Aki, go to make Dur, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. That's what you women are supposed to do. You're supposed to be putting your husbands out the house to go to the mosque to pray when they're at home. Okay? And your sons too. Now, for the Muslim woman, going to the mosque is not an obligation. Let me stress that. For the new converts, you women are getting more blessings sitting here on the internet learning from me than going to the mosque to learn anything, because your home is better for you. For us women, our blessings are in the home, but for the men, it's the opposite. It's the masjid. Okay? So you sisters don't have to ever go to the mosque, but I highly recommend it, especially during the time of the Eid. You want to go to mingle with other Muslims so you can get to meet other Muslim women so they can teach you how to pray physically. And also, it's good to have righteous people in our company and in our midst. Okay? And again, going to the mosque, I want you guys to understand this is considered collective worship. What is collective worship? Congregational prayer. As Muslims, remember the hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if there are two or more Muslims living in the same town, they have to establish congregational prayer. They have to establish collective worship. Okay? Because as Muslims, we have to enjoin the good and forbid the evil with each other. Remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the greatest weapon that we Muslims have against shaitan is each other. And for you brothers, you get more blessings praying in congregation at the mosque than anywhere else. Congregation does not mean praying at home with your wife and children. No, congregation, any hadith that you brothers read that mentions the word congregation is speaking about praying inside the mosque, not at home with your wife. You'd be surprised how many men will ask me, Sister Layla, if I make a prayer at home with my wife and kids, am I getting the same reward as if I were at the mosque? No. Heck no. Congregational prayer refers to praying behind the imam. Everybody understand that? Listen to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. He said the prayer in congregation is 27 times superior to the prayer offered by a person alone. This is for the brothers. And this is speaking about the 5 daily prayers, not the voluntary prayers. You brothers should pray your voluntary prayers at home to teach your wives and kids how to pray. But this is speaking about the obligatory prayers. Also, the Friday prayer, the Eid prayer. Okay? All this stuff should be made in congregation. Congregation meaning with all the other Muslims in that city. For example, for the new sisters I met here where I live, we have a mosque right down the street from us. That mosque represents all the Muslims living in Kent, Stowe, Akron, and Cuyahoga Falls. When they call the adhan for prayer, they're calling the adhan for all Muslims that live in Kent, Stowe, Akron, and Cuyahoga Falls. If you sisters have a husband, your husband has to go to that mosque to perform the congregational prayers with the imam there. Okay? That mosque represents all the Muslims living in Cuyahoga Falls, Stowe, Kent, and Akron. All those 4 suburbs. Again, Cleveland has over 50 suburbs. But those 4 suburbs are close together. We run right into them. So that mosque down the street from where we live, sisters, is for all the Muslims living in Kent, Stowe, Akron, and Cuyahoga Falls. That's our mosque. That's our community. All the Muslims in those 4 towns or those 4 cities, we're all considered under one community. And that's our mosque to represent our community. You understand that? Am I making it clear? Okay. That's where we'll go for our Eid prayer. That's where we'll go for the 5 daily prayers. That's where we'll go during Ramadan to pray the Taraweeh. Everybody understand that? The new sisters that I met, you understand that? And in addition, when we speak about collective worship, this also includes the annual meetings of the members of the international Muslim community in Mecca during the Hajj. It serves as a significant opportunity for Muslims from all over the world to come together and engage in collective worship. And by doing this, it reinforces the sense of community and it strengthens our connections globally with each other. So for the new sisters here, when we go to pray together at the mosque up the street, this is strengthening our relationship with all the Muslims that live in Stowe, Cuyahoga Falls, Kent, and Akron. We're showing that we're not alone. You're not alone. When you sisters met me, you were surprised because I was out taking my garbage out and you saw my hijab. Well, alhamdulillah, there's a lot of Muslims that live over here with us. The rest of them are probably at work. I'm retired. But you will see there's a lot of women that wear hijab here, but a lot of them are doctors, they're at work, or nurses, okay? But alhamdulillah, you moved into a nice Islamic community where there's a lot of Muslims. You can go to the grocery store and you'll see Muslims. You go to Starbucks, you'll see Muslims, okay? A lot of Muslim restaurants, okay? And then when we meet up at the mosque up the street to do Taraweeh for Ramadan or do Juma prayer, you will see just how great a community it is and how diverse it is. Because there's all different races. We have Arabs, we have Pakistanis, we have Indonesians, we have Malaysians. We even have Chinese people here. All different nationalities. African Americans. So you'll fit in. That's the purpose of meeting together collectively. You get to see your strength. You get to see the diversity. It reinforces your faith and your allegiance. Most of all, you're that allegiance. Okay? I want to share with everybody here what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. Keep yourselves content with those who call upon their Lord morning and evening, seeking his pleasure, and do not let your eyes pass beyond them. Do you seek the pomp and glitter of this world? Do not follow he whose heart we have caused to be heedless of our remembers, and who follows his desires, and whose attitude is of excess. Here in this verse, Allah is commanding us as Muslims to try to surround ourselves and be content with that, with other people who believe in Allah and who worship like we do 5 times a day, who don't live their lives focusing on money and the glamour of this world, but they focus on the hereafter. And by the way, this is a picture of another masjid that's close to us. This is the Islamic Center in Chagrin Falls. This is the Islamic Center of Chagrin Falls. Look at this. So for those living in my area, in the Chagrin Falls area, there's a masjid there. Okay? So we have to understand, as Muslims, we should, surround ourselves with other people who are like us, not the non-Muslims. The non-Muslims don't think about Allah. They don't remember Allah. You want to be content with being around people like yourself who call upon their Lord, living each day of their lives, trying to earn his pleasure. And by the way, for you brothers, I want you brothers to pay attention to this. If you brothers fail to attend the Friday prayer, hypocrisy will spread within your heart. What does that mean? You will find yourself deviating away from Islam. You look at some of these brothers, that don't wear beard. They shave their beard. When is the last time they've been to the Friday prayer? You find these brothers taking on the behavior, the attitude, and the way of the non-Muslim men, looking like them, dressing like them, adopting their mannerisms. So the further you brothers are away from that Juma prayer, the darker and harder your heart will appear. You'll end up falling into different sins. And also, guys, you can tell who the hypocrites are in your community by who does not come for the Fajr prayer or for the Isha prayer. Listen to what the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. He said, no prayer is more burdensome to the hypocrite than the Fajr and the evening prayer. If they knew the blessings in them, they would crawl to the mosque. Now, there's some people who live away from the mosque. I know this a brother. He's not close to the mosque. The drive into the mosque is like a 45-minute drive for him. Plus, he works. So he's not able to make all 5 prayers at the mosque. But he makes it a point that when he wakes up every morning, he wakes up early enough to go to the mosque and pray Fajr. And then he leaves from the mosque and goes to work. And then he makes it a point every night to go to the mosque for Isha. This is a good brother. How many of you brothers are doing that? We know you can't do all 5 at the mosque, but you can at least get up to the mosque to do Fajr and at least go to the mosque to pray Isha, because you're off from work now. Start your day in congregation and end your night in congregation. That's the way you guys should roll. Okay? Also, you should never miss 3 Jumas in a row. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said people should stop neglecting the Juma prayer, or Allah will seal their hearts and they'll become among the negligent. And whoever misses 3 Juma prayers in a row out of negligence will have a seal placed on his heart. This same brother that I'm speaking about, not only does he make it a point to make every Fajr prayer and every Isha prayer at the mosque, but he takes off from work at least 1 Friday out of every month so he can not miss 3 Jumas in a row. That's what you brothers should do. At least take off 1 Friday from your job out the month so you can attend Juma prayer. And by the way, for those 2 new sisters who have joined me, this is a picture of the Imam. This is the Imam of the Mosque down the street from us. Okay? And this is another brother who's very popular and very good upon the Sunnah. He's a scholar of Islam, and he lectures around our area all the time. Okay? So you sisters want to acquaint yourselves, and especially your husbands. Have your husbands go to the mosque and acquaint themselves with the mosque down the street. That's the Imam. He's a young brother, and I think you guys will like him. And they have an Islamic school. Okay? So collective worship is an integral part of Islam, guys. You brothers need to get to the masjid to perform your prayers behind the Imam. You don't want to miss more than 3 Friday sermons in a row. And we need to be at the mosque for the Eids. That's our holiday. You want to be at the mosque for the Taraweeh prayer during Ramadan. You want to also, whatever classes and lectures they have, attend the mosque. And the mosque down the street from me has lots of classes and lectures. Okay? Doing this will strengthen not only our connection with Allah, but it'll also strengthen our connection with each other. And again, we cannot get around that hadith. The greatest weapon that we have against Shaitan is each other. Okay? All right. Now let's see how well you guys understood what I've taught today. I'm going to give you a quiz. Pay attention. First question. What represents the house of Allah? What is it in this world that represents the house of Allah? Easy question. Come on.
Masjid.
Do you guys agree? Do you guys agree with their answer?
Yes.
Yes, mashallah. The masjids are the houses of Allah, guys. Those are the houses of Allah. Good job, Lucy. Good job, everybody. Okay, let's look at the next question. This one's easy too. What are some things that we are forbidden to do inside the mosque? What are some things that are forbidden inside the mosque?
Speaking ill of others, gossiping, selling merchandise. There's many more.
Good job. Speaking badly, gossiping, selling merchandise. Anything else?
Fighting inside the mosque.
Fighting. Good job. That's a big problem today. A lot of these mosques, people get in fist fights. What else is forbidden? Anything else? Anything else?
Yeah, going there for dating or flirting, trying to catch a female or a male.
Exactly. Nowadays, the masajid has turned into a pickup spot. That's not the purpose of it. And what is it that the imam can't do? What is it that the imam can't do at the mosque?
The imam can't the imam can't distract others that are praying to follow him.
Exactly. MashaAllah, he did good. Yeah, the imam can't have his mihrab facing the Qibla because to distract the people from worship. He can't, in that way it look like the people are worshiping him, or he'll be in front, they'll be looking at him instead of focusing on Allah. Good job. MashaAllah, baby. I'm proud of you. Good job. Okay, let's look at the next question. I think this is the last one. What is the main purpose of the mosque? What's the main purpose of it?
To worship Allah.
MashaAllah. To worship Allah, guys. Good job. Any other answers? But that's the main purpose, is to worship Allah. And what are some things? What are some things that we can do that fall in the category of worshiping Allah?
To congregate with the other Muslims together, worship, taking classes, just being a community overall.
Exactly. Learning together, reading the Quran, learning, teaching. These are all actions of worship. Holding a conference about Islamic things. These are all actions of worship. That's the purpose of the mosque, for us to come together, to learn about Allah, to come together to get close to him, to come together to reinforce, that allegiance between him, ourselves, and the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Alhamdulillah. So that's the whole.
And also, the ones in my area, they now have like programs for the youth, where like they can have like basketball teams, some art programs for the girls, and then also they do fundraising to help the community.
Yeah, and that's all permissible. We talked about the hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam allowed the Ethiopians to perform their circus in the mosque courtyard. So that is the dalil that yes, we can have basketball courts and things like that, okay, for the kids. And most of the mosques do. The one here where we live, for the new sisters, we have all that too. They have an Islamic school. If you have children, they have a good Islamic school. They have their own football field or whatever that is. They got a hockey field or something back there. It's a lot that they got going on. It's a beautiful mosque. Okay, are there any questions or comments? Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka